Stories, I'm a fool for your love.
Hey guys, welcome back here, Snowmagic. You join me for another episode of Catling Crops. Today, this is probably gone away from what I had scheduled to do, just because a little bit of news has come out in recent days that the release of Catling Crops is coming, 15th of October, I believe. You will have version 1 available to all. So it's exciting to finally kind of get a release date. I suppose I'm following the game myself personally with about maybe 2 years now. So it is definitely exciting to see the progress being made throughout, and that the guys over there have finally gotten around to a release date version of the game. So yeah, I'm just excited. I think that's probably the easiest way of describing it. Couple of features that they have stated will be in there in release. So you will have a extensive tutorial mode to kind of walk you through the basics of the game and stuff, get you into it. And then there's, I'm assuming it's called a career mode, but I assume it's similar to what we've been doing here, which again is like another step up on the tutorial mode, which shows you just the workings of fields, how to do certain actions in game, things that you'll be kind of looking for. And finally, we have the sandbox mode. I believe if you select the sandbox mode, you are left to your own devices. Um, it's up to you what you do when you do. There will be no missions on the side to help you or to earn any extra cash and stuff like that. So, will be interesting. I think for most people's first goes, I would probably recommend the career mode. It'll probably give you a better base setup in the game, and once you probably get used to it, then from there, sandbox mode is probably an ideal thing. Now there is no extra maps. The map that we have here, and I'll bring it up, this will be the base map for the game, so there will be nothing, no extra maps or anything like that released. I don't think there's any extra implements being released either. So all the stuff that we have in game, I think currently now, I could be wrong, we might get one or two small things, but it won't be anything massive. So whatever you're kind of playing with now will be the kind of gist of it, and it's just an exciting time. So I think there is enough implements there to cover a multitude of different tasks. Just try and line up my GPS here again so it kicks in. So sorry, as I was saying, you should have enough gear, I think, to kind of do everything in the game. So there should really be no issues that way. Yeah, it's just exciting. I do believe they've a slight change on the way the silos is working. Um, Whereas you can now kind of, I should say, this is for the BGA silos and the feed silos at the farm. You can kind of tip in one area now and push it with a shovel, I believe, whereas before it was kind of a drive slowly across, try and unload it as evenly as you can, not to create any big pile that will restrict you from driving through it again the next time. So that is a handy side. So for those who like to do the buck raking side of life, that option is there. A couple of things that won't be in the game, I suppose. We have no multiplayer. I think they were planning on working on like a voice-over system for missions and stuff that it would kind of be a bit more interactive, but that's not there. And I think some of the multi-language options have been dropped as well. But not so much dropped, I shouldn't say dropped, but they're still being worked on, but they just mightn't be there fully in version 1 of the game. So just little things I have to work on. But yeah, I think multiplayer is probably the one everybody's excited for. But there is a mission statement on their websites where they've stated that they, instead of working on the multiplayer, kind of got the AI side of it working right. And I have to say, the AI in this game is particularly very good. Um, Compared to what it was when they first released, or when I first got my hands on the early access, I suppose. Um, Leaps and bounds better. It handles weird shaped fields. It can drive down the road, interact with other traffic, and not become an issue. We're listening badly there. That was my fault. So lots of pros in the AI. Have to double think there for what I was thinking. So I think all in all, there is lots of good news really coming from it. So we have to be happy with that. And as I say, release date is the 15th of October. So as of my recording date, just a little bit over 2 weeks to go. Um, so I think it'll probably be under 2 weeks by the time the video is out. But as I say, no, just excited to see the direction. You just drop in here. I'm making a hash of this. Making a hash of this seeding job here. I think I'm just overly excited. But we'll be excited to see the direction the game goes in the coming months as well. Support does look good for it, so I don't think it's a case of cashing in. Or at least one would hope it's not a case of cashing in. To me, I think the support will be readily available. The game is mod friendly, so I'd say give it maybe from release. There is mods out here now that you can get for the game, but once version 1 comes, I'd imagine those mods will either need a quick update or a patch to them just to get them all back up to scratch. And yeah, you're probably just better off to keep an eye on your favorite mod site if you have one for mods. And most of them, I think, a good start of them are on the mod hoster website. So in all my going here, I've got to check something, which we're just going to quickly check as we seed. My spray rate should have been a little higher, but 500 isn't bad. We'll survive on that. So that's the early part of this video. Exciting news, as I say. So it was revealed that it was coming Q3 of this year, and to finally have the date, as I say, is just something truly, truly exciting. Now, for those wondering why I am messing up in this field, we'll actually just stop here now and we'll set it up again. So we are using the GPS feature, so there should be a command button set up on your hotkeys. For me, it's the P button. It brings up my field guidance system, and from here it's very simple. This is the basically activating the actual system itself, so it won't work if it's not activated, obviously. So we're clicking here. The next one here we have is for showing hiding tracks. So depending on what you're doing, if you don't like to see the lines there, you can just hide it, and once you get used to the game a little bit, you'll figure out your gaps and distances. And this one then is basically just, if you're pointing a different way, it will reset the track to square on the tractor, but obviously we don't want that, so we're going to try and bring ourselves back to where we were. So we're using this tab down here, the direction tab. I believe this one again just resets direction, so similar to the top one. This is a 90-degree turn right, and this is 1 degree, which is probably the one you use most often. So we're just going to see if we can bring it back somewhere there. I think it's fairly good. And obviously you can go left again if you want, or if you know the exact degrees you're looking for, you can also just input it, and that will change here too. Same for working with. we're using a 6 meter implement here. I tend to just lessen it. Sometimes you'll get a little skip. That's what I found in my personal experience to using it. And then we also have track offset, so if you're slightly off and you want to just adjust your track left or right, you can do that right here as well. So all handy things. And then this is if you're plowing, you can offset your track. So you'll see the blue line now has appeared, and the blue line is where the tractor will drive. So if we had a 6 meter plow, we'd be roughly somewhere, well, probably more center, somewhere like that, I think it would be. And you can automatically switch then here by clicking this. So when you hit the headland and turn, the offset will automatically rotate with you, so handy for plowing. And that's just a reset on it, so we don't need it. And if you are harvesting, this is a nice feature, you can adjust your heights here on your field guidance system. So if you're in corn and you can't see your lines and you're wondering where you're going, you can also adjust the heights of the lines. So once you've all that done, it is a simple case then of exit out of this screen. Now the one you need is your activation one. So what we'll do here now is we're going to concentrate on just down here. So you see I have two options. I have one is the actual guidance system itself, and this then is the auto steer feature. To get the auto steer feature, last one down here. So if I turn it off, you'll see it's disappeared, which means that my wheels won't now track to the lines I've created or to the tracks, and once you turn it back on, it does. And to see this in full effect, we are going to jump into cab. So what I'm going to do, I don't think it'll work. I think I'll have to adjust a little bit. So if I go somewhere there, so you see we're pointing off our track now, and once we enable our auto steer, so you'll see now our auto steer is on. I don't think there's anything on the dash now, and the minute you turn it off, it should line back up to your steering wheel position. Now the one thing I have noticed is we have it on. If we just rotate the steering wheel, you'll see it takes that fraction. I don't know why I'm being slowly zoomed out. Oh, don't know what that is, but that's weird. Um, so as I was saying, sorry, if you rotate the steering wheel, you'll instantly disconnect your auto steer. And if your steering wheel is a slight off center to it, sometimes you see now my steering wheel here, I'm not touching it, hands are off it, but I have it slightly off. The center spring isn't quite tight. I don't know why my tractor is doing that. It's just rocking and rolling, doing its own thing. It's a bit weird. But you'll see my wheels haven't corrected until I bring my steering wheel back to this dead zone, and then it'll bring it back in. So sometimes it's a bit easier to use the keyboard for what you want. We get rolling before we all get seasick and that rocking motion. So that is your GPS kind of in a nutshell. Um, the best way to do it is find the hotkey commands and set them up. I have my main auto steer on off on a steering wheel on the button. So when I draw my straight line, I can activate my thing. The one thing not to forget is when you're driving along with a steering wheel, and it's happened to me a few times, if you don't disable your thing and you manage to get your steering wheel on a dead zone for a bit of time, the auto steer will kick in and you will end up driving across the field. So it can be a little bit painful. It's funny, but when you do it for maybe the 10th time, not so funny. So again, we're going to look to set kind of steering wheel dead center. Auto steer kicks in automatically, and if we ever want to stop it, it's just a case of pressing the auto steer button itself, or I do believe you can shut off the whole system as well, but it's just handy to just do the auto steer side of it. Is probably the easiest way out of it. So we're going to lift up, not exactly following the specs on how we should be doing it, I suppose. in terms of we're not doing a headland. Um, it'll be interesting to see what happens to my save once the full release of the game comes. I'd imagine one, it'll be a big update, and two, it might require a fresh save. So that'll be me facing into doing some things more than probably want to, but we'll see. We might even just do straight out sandbox mode. But I am interested to see what changes they made to the missions. So, excuse me, don't fault me if you do see me doing missions. So we're going to get to work here in our last field, which I believe is this one. I'll just double check that there now before we do get started. So we're going to go F1, own fields, and field 11. Luckily we clicked on it in one, so this is our field. You see our levels are kind of low. Now, do I have a worker? What's our staff scenario? We do have 2 staff. So one of these might be free. So I'm just responding to a question I received as well recently from Gamer UK, and he was basically looking to see. Let me see if I can get it up here quickly. Um, yeah, Gamer UK. So go check him out, guys. And secondly, he's looking for GPS and setting up hired workers. He's having a few issues. So I know I did have a few issues at the start, but when it comes to hire workers, the main thing when it comes to hired workers is you have to have the staff hired. There's no point trying to set up a hired worker if you don't have them hired here. So if you go to the employees tab, you have a staff and a job market. So the job market is people looking for work. So these are all the people out there looking for work. This is the price. I don't know, is it per month or per year? I'm not 100% sure, but we have a little bit of details, a couple of things missing. And if you click on staff, these are the staff that you've hired. So he's working with us now for 6 months. Henses and Harold is 4 months. So you can fire staff then here too, but I tend to hire the cheapest to get the job done. So I'm hoping I can do this now. We'll do a quick test. So we're going to go tasks, and from tasks then we're going to go new tasks. So for us, we're doing field work, so we're seeding. Have we drivers? We have no drivers, so we have to cancel. And we're going to go to the job market. We are going to pick up Louise. We are going to hire Louise for 3 hours. Wow, that's good money for 3 hours work. So we're going to lend. So that's like a lease or a loan, or I don't know how you want to best describe it. So now if we go to staff, we should have 3. So now we have Louise as well, and she is with us until this time. So we've only got her for 3 hours. So there's still a little bit of translation issues across some things, but again, this is still early access, despite despite everything that we've been talking about today. So we're going to go back to quests. Nope, not quests. Sorry, tasks. New task, fieldwork, and here we're going to select our driver. So now we have a driver. So we have Louise. You used to be able to select yourself, but for some odd reason, I don't know where that's gone. Not sure. Is it ever coming back? So I think we need to go down. So we need to get to the 3-point pitch. Use the middle. So to get down to the bottom one, we're just going to use the middle mouse button. These are going to select. Thank God for that. So we're selecting our thing, and then we are going to use the grain seed unit. So this is roughly the setup we have now. I don't think we have a weight on the front. Don't think we do. So we're going to save that. So this is our setup that we're currently using in the field. We are in field 11, so you got to select your field entry. I think it's, I want to say northeast, could be wrong. Destination after field work. So if we say farm, he will literally drive back to the farmyard, so that's what we're going to do. So these are all the people. So machine settings. So this is our spread rate, and it's asking where we want to, or it gives you your fertilizer spread rate here. So we're setting it, we're going to leave it at 500 mark, so it's fine. And it also gives you the option of if you were refilling the tanks, which I don't think we need that. I think it's wheat seed is what we're using, and it's MPK 1515. So we've selected those two. I don't know um, why fill type. That could be a bit of an issue for us in a bit, but we'll see. So we have done that, and the next big thing, depending on when you want to do it, is the date and time. So we would want to start this immediately, so we are going to just hit save after immediately. Any second now, I'd be hoping he would just kick in and start going, but for some odd reason he won't. Oh, there we go. I was going to say it, he's going to let me down with a bang, but he didn't. So what he is doing now is driving to the northeast, so this was obviously the north side of the map. After all my talk about the AI being so spectacularly good, we're just going to see how it all pans out. So what we might do is try and move ourselves a little bit closer, and while the AI is working it, we'll do a short little time lapse here, guys, and fingers crossed it will all work out. But as I say, the main trick for getting higher staff to work, I suppose, is in the working, or is in having staff readily available. You used to be able to assign yourself to a task, so if you were doing forage harvesting, you could have 2 workers on carting, and you could do the harvesting, or whichever way you wanted to set it up. But for some odd reason, I don't see that feature there anymore, so that's a little bit weird. But there goes my hard worker. Oh, wrong one. So we're going to see if we can jump in here and ride along. Didn't get run over. Gotta be happy. So I don't think I'm going to be overly happy with the finished job here from the hard worker, but it's just the quick demonstration of how it all kind of pans out. Um, but as I say, see how it all plays out, and the best thing about this game is you can just kind of play with things and see what happens. Some of my stuff has happened by mistake, purely through trial and error. So guys, I think I've rambled on for long enough. I don't think I'm going to do the time lapse here because I think I'm going to be quite upset with the condition of the field when she is finished. And it doesn't matter that it's a she, nothing to do with that. It is purely hard worker. I don't think seeding is probably the best thing. Some of those gaps look funky. So I think this is my first time ever actually having a hard worker do the seeding, so it will be interesting to see. But anyway, we're going to let it crack on here. As I say, I've been Snowmilly 6, guys. This has been Catlin Crops, and if you've been one of those waiting patiently to get your hands on it, the wait is nearly over. 15th of October, Catlin Crops version 1 released to the public, so keep your eyes out for that. Good game, definitely recommend it. Has a couple of bugs, but as I say, what I've been testing with is the early access. So it'll be interesting to see where it is on version 1. But and all going well, guys, I should be able to bring that to you as well. So if you are waiting to see what the game is like, I'm sure me and other content creators will bring you Catlin Crops when it's there. So that being said, guys, I've been Snowman86, and as always, guys, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you all again. Take care.